What's going on, guys? My name is Aldenero and welcome to episode 32 of my Leicester City career mode. We're starting this episode off at Anfield with a crucial game against Liverpool, and I didn't have high expectations going into this game. I was planning on parking the bus and playing for a draw, and you'll see how that turns out. As you can see, a victory by 8 goals or so would put us into 3rd place, but a victory of any kind would take us into 4th, which is what we were looking for. This is a look at the Liverpool team. As you can see, it's pretty good, and I have a question for you guys at the start of this episode, because I was thinking about this the other day when one of my friends said, who is your best player been so far? And I said Scott Sinclair or Jeffrey Schlupp, both of whom start up front in this game, which I was hoping was a good omen, because Schlupp asked me at the end of the last episode if he could start for this game, so I started him, and we'll see how that works out. As you see, just 4 minutes into the game, Sinclair playing the ball wide to Tom Ince on the right hand side of the pitch, who gets into a good crossing position, and he finds Jeffrey Schlupp in the middle, who gives us a mega unexpected early goal at Anfield. Although, having said that, I do remember Jamie Vardy scoring in the opening 5 minutes of this fixture last season. But yeah, do let me know who your favourite player is so far, or rather who the best player in your club has been so far. It can be on Ultimate Team too. But 6 minutes in, as you see, Liverpool have just kicked off and they've just surrendered possession, but Tom Ince played the worst through ball in the world to Sinclair. No matter though, he wins it back off Lovren anyway. He goes for the finesse shot, it hits off Skirtle, it goes into the back of the net, and just 7 minutes in, we are 2-0 up at Anfield, in a fixture that we actually won 3-2 last season, so we are capable of doing it. But I just couldn't believe this was happening, because Liverpool annihilated us at the King Power Stadium this season. They played incredibly well against us, and they seemed like much more of a completed product. In the 10th minute, Jeffrey Schlupp with some nice footwork to get in between the 2 defenders who were opposing him, but he gets in and puts the shot, unfortunately just wide. Liverpool did come forward though, and it was about time they showed some bite in this game, because they had offered nothing before. This was their first shot of the game, with Balotelli finding Markovic, who plays it to Steven Gerrard, who finds Lallana. Lallana looks up and plays it to Asaidi, who finds Balotelli on the edge of the area, but his left-footed strike goes wayward beyond the goal and nothing came of it. Just after the half-hour mark, we attacked a little bit more with Scott Sinclair playing on the ball. He takes it round Gerrard with a pretty nice scoop turn, or whatever it is, and then he gets into a good shooting position, and he makes it 3-0 with the deflection. The original one went down as a Skirtle own goal, but this one was a definite Scott Sinclair goal, and he has made it 3-0 to us in just 34 minutes at Anfield. What a time to be alive, pretty much. Like, what an amazing turn of events it is. Unbelievable scenes. Gerrard inside the box has no options. He plays it to Lallana, who couldn't even find the net with an empty net. Fair enough, there was pressure on him or whatever, but just before the hour mark, Scott Sinclair approaches the Liverpool goal as we continued our onslaught into the second half. Scott Sinclair backheels it to Ince, but he actually loses it. But then it came to Markovic, who played it to Ince. Now his shot goes way wide. I just put that in to show that the pressure was still on. And we come up to the 65th minute with Balotelli on the ball taking on John Stones. He finds Coutinho, who came on as a second half substitute. Coutinho gets into a good position to pass to Steven Gerrard, who instead of shooting plays it into Matuidi, who found Balotelli, but Balotelli's shot went way wide. And we come up to the 70th minute with Tom Ince running through all the defence. He loses it, it comes to Schlupp, and his sort of impromptu shot forces a save from Mignolet. But that's how the game ended, a 3-0 victory, and that's why I say Scott Sinclair, I think, is probably my best player, because he always does it in the big games. He did it against Manchester City where he scored 2. He technically only scored 1 in that game, but come on, he scored 2. And here's a look at the league table as a result of that fixture. We are in 4th place, and it's just incredible. I am having so much fun with this season, you guys wouldn't even believe. But our next game is in the FA Cup. Here's a look at the tournament tree. We're playing against Norwich City. We are the away team in this fixture. This is how their team looks. They've got Gary Hooper up front. They've got Nathan Redmond. They've got Ojije Ofoe. They're of course a Premier League team in this season. They've got promotion, and they're an alright team as well. They play with a sort of a difficult formation to break down. We went with a weakened team, as we always do in cup competitions. We've got Bellerin, we've got Blackett, we've got Bakayoko, Ince playing in there as well. That's Rohan Ince. Some big names started though. Mackay, Stephen, Gale, and Zaha. They're all pretty good players for us, not to mention Luca Ante in defence as well. It was Norwich who almost drew first blood in the 18th minute, but Graben's shot went well wide. But he would get another chance just 5 minutes later as the ball comes to Johnson on the edge of the area, who finds Bennett. He plays it back to Olsen. Olsen looks up and finds Graben. His volley was very good, but just wide of the post, thankfully enough for us. We come up to the 27th minute with Wilfried Zaha on the ball, going on a little bit of a tear. This is what high dribbling will do to you. It will just take you into positions like this purely from running running, and he crosses to Dwight Gale, who gives us the lead just before the half-hour mark with a nice header into the opposite side of the goal from where the goalkeeper was coming from. And Norwich City kicked off with Gary Hooper on the ball. He didn't really know what he was going to do. He ended up surrendering possession immediately to Rohan Ince, who takes a look up and goes for the pass. It doesn't get through, but Dwight Gale retrieves it. He plays it into Berahino. It comes back to Dwight Gale, and just like that, it's 2-0. Just like the game at Anfield, we took the game to Norwich immediately after the kickoff, and for the second time in 2 games, we go 2-0 up just after the half-hour mark. So that's a pretty good return, I think. Dwight Gale's second of the afternoon as well, or the evening. We've never actually had a hat-trick hero in this series yet, I don't think. But in the 38th minute, the ball comes into Bennett. He almost scores from that shot with Schmeichel, but then amazingly he manages to turn it around and get it into the back of the net from such a tight angle and pull a goal back. And I was a little worried from here, but Dwight Gale on the ball does really well to get round Basong before making it into the box. It comes to Berahino, who looks up, crosses it into Dwight Gale, and we have crowned our first hat-trick hero of the series so far, I hope, because I've gotten that wrong before. I'm pretty sure that's our first hat-trick of the series though, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. And what a man to have scored it as well. Dwight Gale with his 12th goal of the season, I do believe. Drinkwater plays it to Dwight Gale in the 44th minute, but Berahino was down injured, so the play had to stop. As a result of that, I substituted him and brought on Jeffrey Schlupp, so I was kind of, you know, I didn't really care. Berahino could be out for 7 months. I don't even think I'd miss him. I'd just find someone else to miss several chances in front of goal. But Norwich almost scored in the 52nd minute. We did thankfully manage to clear it, and just before the hour mark, we came forward with Basong on the ball, getting dispossessed from Dwight Gale, who gets into an advanced position and nets his 4th goal of the evening and makes it 4-1 to us in a very convincing performance in the FA Cup 5th round, with a place in the quarterfinals up for grabs. And then an old friend, well, an old hero turned zero comes on as Dave Nugent makes his entrance for Norwich City, the man who they paid £1.7 million for from us in the January transfer window. And in the 74th minute, Bennett gets on the ball. He takes it round his player but shoots over. And I think it's very rare to find the AI willing to shoot from distance like that, and it's kind of a very good indication that they were panicked. They kind of went into Brentford mode immediately here, which is what I will refer to all amazing attacking play from now on when the AI is under pressure, because I'm still not over that defeat. But Houlihan plays the ball into Basong, who is essentially playing as a centre forward in the 90th minute. His shot forced a save from Kasper Schmeichel, and the ball went out for a corner kick, from which Norwich would get another chance as Olsen comes across to swing it outwards with his left foot. Plenty of options in the box for him. It goes towards Gary Hooper, who plays it into Teddy at the back post, who ends up making it 4-2 and pulling a goal back. And I don't know, like, see this? They're celebrating, right? You've just made it 4-2, you've pulled a goal back, you've got yourself a consolation goal. If the emotional awareness or emotional intelligence or whatever it is that EA were talking about existed, they would take the ball from the net and put it on the halfway line as a mark of urgency and wanting to get forward. But either way, we find out that Berahino will be out for 4 weeks, and our next game in the league is against Norwich City, because we haven't played them in a long time, so I was really looking forward to this game. But a win here is obviously what we were looking for. A draw would not really be good enough. We've just shown how we can play against Norwich and how we can do really well against them. The teams for either side largely unchanged, although I did change the formation back. I went with an adventurous 4-4-2 in the FA Cup because I didn't really care about the tournament. But in this game I went back to the 4-4-2 holding with 2 holding midfielders, because I think Gardner and Koyate is a pretty good balance of technical ability and just raw power. But Dwight Gale gets through in the 26th minute, almost scores. I realised looking on the replay, like with hindsight, that I should have played that ball into Gardner or whoever it was. But Gardner gets into a good position himself in the 29th minute, and his shot forces a save from Ruddy in goal. And then we come up to the 32nd minute with Norwich on the attack as the ball comes to Redmond on the left hand side, who gets around John Stones so easily before crossing it into Hooper, who heads it on to Johnson, whose diving header almost found the back of the net for the visitors, but thankfully it didn't. They did get a corner kick from it, however, which Bradley Johnson swings outwards with his left foot. It's punched by Schmeichel, and it comes to Abner, the Brazilian fullback, who plays it to Tom Ince, who has a look up and sees the run from Abner as being continued down the right hand side. I love it when like fullbacks do this and they come barging forward. A great show of strength from him as well, but unfortunately his ability to finesse it into the far corner isn't quite as good as Jeffrey Schlupp's. Excuse me. But we do find out in the 40th minute that John Stones has been injured, and that's a real shame. Graban gets booked for the foul on him. And what I did actually was I brought on Rohan Ince, and I played him in the Koyate position, and I moved Koyate into centre-back because we all know he can play there. And I don't know why, but I'm really apprehensive about making defensive substitutions like that. I prefer to have more attackers on the pitch if possible, because if we were to go a goal behind, I'd only have 2 attacking substitutions left to make, and I do like going on all-out attack when I'm a goal behind. But in the 65th minute, Bradley Johnson almost puts us a goal behind as his shot goes just wide. But 9 minutes later or so, we change to the attacking mentality. Schlupp finds Sinclair in a good position. He came on as a substitute. He plays a great ball through the middle of the defence into Tom Ince, who runs down the right hand side and crosses it into Dwight Gale, who gets his 5th goal in 2 games against Norwich City in a matter of 7 days, and he runs over to celebrate after giving us the lead. And I know I just called him Paul Ince, and I'll probably do it again, but I'm sorry for doing that. But in the 76th minute, the ball comes to Routledge, who plays it into David Nugent, who gets a shot off at his former teammate Kasper Schmeichel, who thankfully was alert enough to punch it away. And then in the 86th minute, Gary Hooper's finesse shot goes inches wide of the post, and we hang on to claim our 2nd victory against Norwich. And another 3 points in the league, which is incredibly important. And I can't believe I'm saying it, but we are really pushing towards this 4th place at the moment. Even when I don't play well, I just churn out, I claw out results. I don't know, I'm having so much fun playing the game. Like, it's really fun. I know I score a lot of those goals where I run towards the goal with the midfielder and cross it into the striker, and I'm sure you guys hate that. But as you can see, we're 4 points clear of 5th place Arsenal. And we do have the unfortunate news that John Stones is going to miss 2 months of action. Thankfully, we do have Koyate, who can play in defence now. We've also got Luca Ante and Liam Moore and even Wes Morgan and Tyler Blackett. So we're actually alright. I've done a fairly decent job with the squad, if I do say so myself. That's the end of this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, a like would be much appreciated. The support on this series has been really overwhelming so far. I really appreciate it. That's the end. I've been El Dinero. Thanks for watching.